Hey everybody, Rob Nelson here to talk about story basics. Essentially, how do you shoot video while you're out having fun so that you can come back into the editing room and tell a fantastic story? Because the most common mistake is that everybody goes out and maybe they're filming on a boat like this and you just film like when somebody does a big jump and then you stop recording. Well, there's a lot more things that you need to shoot to tell the rest of that story. And so I think there are 4 things that you need to think about. And those are: get your establishing shots, shoot your characters, get those action shots, and finally shoot a conclusion. Now to help me explain all of this, I'm going to show you some of the footage that Jonas and I took while we were out in San Diego doing stand-up paddleboarding with the GoPro team. So let's just start from the very beginning, establishing shots. Now this is something that I think a lot of people forget about doing, but step back, take some wide static shots of the location, take some shots of you gearing up, close-ups, basically just all of the documentation of your travel. Those are really important to get, and a lot of people miss those. Then it's really important to introduce your characters. Essentially, you want to introduce the person or people that are there, you want to introduce the place, and you want to introduce the purpose. Why are they doing all this? We're out here doing stand-up paddleboarding with GoPro.
Sun, surf, and a lot of cool gear.
Then you want to shoot your action shots. Now this is probably the easiest thing to get, but here's one thing to think about. Try to mix up your angles. Get at least 24 different angles. If you're able to use GoPros, then don't use them like a normal camera where you're just holding it in front of you and taking pictures. Stick them in odd locations, places that people haven't seen before, because it'll really spice up your action. That includes your POV shots, so stick them on people's heads, stick them on their chests. And also don't forget to have a little bit of pre-roll and post-roll on your videos. So before somebody gears up, hit record, let it run for 10 or 15 seconds, then make sure you're filming afterwards. Just let it roll, because sometimes those reactions are the best. Hi! And finally, the conclusion or payoff. Now this can be really simple, but essentially you gotta try to get the actions of the people being really excited about whatever just happened. And I'll admit, doing the stand-up paddleboarding, it wasn't so easy, but what we did is that we tried to have a competition right at the very end so that we could get some of those shots. So we filmed ourselves racing each other, and then some of that celebration and payoff I think would be really good in a story. Of course, those are just 4 things. Hope you learned something from that. There's a lot of things that make a good story, but if you start out by just keeping it simple with those 4 simple things to shoot for, I think you're gonna shoot a better story. And I hope you guys picked up something from this. Maybe you learned something. Maybe it was just reinforcing stuff you already do. If you're a seasoned professional and you do this all the time, then leave your comments down below about what do you particularly think about that you need to get while you're out in the field that maybe, you know, those 4 things didn't cover. Really interested to hear from you. I think it benefits the community. We can all read down in the comments. And yeah, thanks everybody for watching. We'll see you next week with more tips and tricks. Hopefully something that you didn't know before. Oh, and one last thing. Check out this video that we did last week with GoPro on the GoPro channel, Spinning Steel Wool. It's pretty awesome. And so you can see how all of the different ingredients get incorporated into telling a kind of a cool story. And maybe you can pick out all of the different things that we just talked about. Okay, see you next week.